You asked, so here are 5 more super easy baking mixes that you can have in your pantry for very quick, from scratch cooking. Today I have a cake recipe, a chocolate chip cookie recipe, a biscuit recipe, a cornbread recipe, and a quick pumpkin bread recipe. Yesterday when I was in Costco, I saw that there was a boxed mix for pumpkin bread, and it was over $8. I think that is crazy when you can make it for a fraction of the price with all ingredients that you know, like, and trust. You're gonna be needing 1 quart or 1 liter jars, depending where you are in the world, and then a bunch of baking supplies as you probably already have on hand. Now, side note, these are perfect for gifting. I'm going to package them exactly like I would for giving them away because it is right around Christmas time and this would be the perfect homemade gift. If you caught my last baking mixes video, you will have seen these big pails that we keep our dry goods in. Something that we recently invested in are these Gamma lids, and they are honestly game changer. I was finding it so frustrating to constantly have to open the lids, and it was causing me to not fully keep them closed. Part of the importance of bulk dry goods storage is creating an airtight seal as often as you can. These have just made it so convenient. If you're currently using these pails and you have the extra money to do it, I would highly recommend just invest in the Gamma lids. I will link them in the description box down below. I'm going to move you over so we can get a closer look at the way that I'm going to layer these ingredients in case you also want to create them for a gift. Last baking mixes towards the end, I remember that a canning funnel works really well for this. We're going to start with 2 cups of flour. This is just all-purpose flour, not cake flour. Now, if I was using brown sugar for this, I would break up the flour a little bit, but since it's white sugar, we're just gonna put all the flour at the bottom. And we give it a little shake to even it out. Right away, I'm gonna put in my baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I want it close to the flour, so we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then give this a little shake as well. Now we'll move on to cocoa powder. It's 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. This can definitely be a little bit of a messy process. As you can see, I'm covered. And again, give it just a gentle shake. Finally, it is 1 3/4 cup of sugar. As you can see, this fills all the way up to the top, which is perfectly fine by me, but you can definitely use a bigger jar. Then the lid goes on, and then we'll put a label on. So now all we have to do is tie on our instruction list. And there we go. Second up, we have chocolate chip cookies. You can never go wrong with those. So go ahead and grab your clean jar and I'll meet you over there. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. With this layer, I find that you have to kind of squish it to the outside so you're actually able to see it. 1/2 cup of white sugar. Then top it off with 1/2 to 1 cup of chocolate chips. Add the lid and then the tag. How cute is that? I briefly wanted to talk about these labels. I made all of these labels and they are available for you completely free in the description box below. So you can just print it out, cut it up. I like to use pinking shears. I think it gives it a cute little rustic look. and then attach it to your jars. That way you don't have to look back in a recipe book. Please let me know if that's helpful to you. I enjoy doing it, and I'm working on something very special behind the scenes. I'm working on my very first ebook. It will include a ton more of these recipes, so if you want to be in the know for that, definitely download these tags and I will be sending out an email on it shortly. Next, we have a biscuit mix, which is always great to have on hand. You can put this on top of a chicken pot pie. You could do biscuits and gravy. You could do a breakfast biscuit sandwich. The possibilities are endless. This is such a versatile one. These biscuits start with 4 cups of flour. And then 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Since this is mostly flour, you could definitely mix it in a mixing bowl beforehand and then put it in the jar. This works perfectly fine too though. Again, add the lid, and then you can attach the label. Then we've got a cornbread. This has a couple different variations of sweetness, so definitely follow along with the recipe and decide how sweet you want your cornbread to be. This recipe was highly requested, so if that was you that suggested this, please give it a thumbs up and send me a comment below. I love to hear from you. This one is 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of cornmeal or corn flour, and then 1/2 of a cup to 1 full cup of sugar. If you like it sweeter, you can definitely add 1 full cup. We do not really like our cornbread that sweet, so we're just doing a half today. And then 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. The lid. So this one's a little bit long. I'm just gonna trim off some of these edges. And there you go. And finally, we have our pumpkin bread in a jar. This one is so delicious. I hope that you love it. For this last one, we're going to change up the order of ingredients. So we're just gonna do 1 cup of flour to begin, and then 1 cup of brown sugar, and then another cup of flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we'll finish with 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. You could do 1/2 cup of walnuts or pecans. You could do raisins, but we are a nut-free household, so chocolate chips just make everything better. There you go. If you have any questions or want to see anything different, please leave it in the comment section below. I love reading all of the things that you write to me, and I really want to make content that you want to see. So please let me know what things would interest you. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. Take care.